G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to go through the Collingwood Magpies team review for AFL SuperCoach season 2026. If you haven't checked out the 3 other videos I have posted already, go check them out. I've done Adelaide, Brisbane, Carlton so far, doing it in alphabetical order. We'll be doing the other 14 teams as before the preseason starts. Today, we're going to do Collingwood. So Collingwood, basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about different players, if they're going to be a good pick, bad pick, I don't know pick. I'll be honest, it's not many big talking points out of Collingwood, but what we'll do, as always, shout out Nerds for Life on SuperCoach on Twitter, always getting all the notes from different sources and then compiling up, making a big document here. This was the 25th of November, so it was actually about 2 or 3 months ago, which is a long time. This one was 10th of December. There hasn't been one since. So we'll just base it off this for now. So Collingwood's first 4 players returned. Rowan Seal finished first in the 2-kilometre time trial. He is a midfielder, or is he a forward? He's a midfielder, 196, played 3 games. I know it says Steele played 5 AFL games last year, including 2 finals, but was sub-affected, so still rookie priced. John DeGoey, Howe, Maynard, Darcy Cameron came back early. DeGoey, 300k. Charlie West impressed. Ned Long continued hard work. He kind of broke out last year as a good pick. I didn't jump on him, but yeah. Light session for West, Hayes, Sullivan, Bryan, Parker, Allen, Smith, DeMartia, and Crotchen. So when they mean by light, I'm going to assume, obviously not as big as workload as the others would get. Now, this one was December 10th. Nick Dacos appears to be over the injury issues that were irritating him late last year. Looks to be fit and firing for this year. Josh Dacos and DeGoey absent from match simulation. Bobby Hill was doing laps. I think he took personal leave again. There was 3 players back to back who personal leave. Reef McGuinness took part in the drills and running rehab group. Pod rookie price to keep an eye on. Training defence again. Okay. Jeremy Howe, Houston, Darcy Moore also rehab group. Sullivan had an injury scare, limping off the ground with a PCL problem. However, he's been given the all clear by the club. And then we've got Taj Wood and Will Phillips have started training with the VFL team, who could push for the mid-season draft. Taj Woden, I forgot that he got delisted from Melbourne. And Will Phillips as well. I heard that there was some rumours that Richmond were trying to get after him. And we've got Jeremy, yep. Scott Pendlebury training in the defender group. Interesting. Harvey Harrison impressing after returning ACL. Looks to be a decent amount of muscle, which is nice. Jack, DeMartia, Allen, Ryan have all started preseason stronger and have impressed early on. So that is the Collingwood's preseason notes that I've just read. Obviously, they were in November and December. We haven't seen anything yet, but I have heard, everyone's kind of heard about Josh Dacos, which we'll get into a tick. But let's start. So, Dan Houston. Actually, you could probably start with Josh Dacos, who is in defence. We'll start with him because it will make sense why I want to talk about Houston a bit more. So, Josh Dacos was actually an okay guy to have on your team. He was averaging 97. Right. So, he hasn't averaged 100 yet, but he's had games. He had that game where he scored 170 or 80. Oh, we can have a look. 198. Oh, there we go. 198. That's right. He had 198 against Gold Coast. So he is capable of putting up a pretty big score. But as we saw with these averages for the past few years, he hasn't hit 100 yet. But there is conversations going around saying that he's training with the midfield group and potentially might be in the starting midfield group as well. So there's obviously, when you think about it, you've got Nick Dacos, you've got Pendlebury, you got Sidebottom, who plays on the wing, you got Crisp, who comes into the middle sometimes, and you got Ned Long. I know Crisp, I think he was on wing. You can let me know if I'm wrong. Ned Long goes into the middle sometimes. You got to go, he's trying to try and get in. So there's a lot of people to go through. I know I just read Pendlebury kind of train with the defence group. So it'd be interesting to see if he plays like a halfback role. I don't think he's got the pace or the endurance at his age to do it, even though he is great. He's good at endurance and pace and stuff. Just I think his age might come into effect sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how they fit Josh Dacos in that midfield group. I'm excited. People have gone with him. He is 7% owned. And then Dan Houston's 2% owned. It's a nice little pod for some people, which we'll talk about now. So Dan Houston now, obviously with Josh Dacos and the conversations of him going to the midfield, opens the opportunity up for Dan Houston to be the guy again. Obviously, he was the number one option at Port Adelaide coming off halfback. Now he's been at Collingwood for a year. Didn't impress a lot of people. I mean, from a SuperCoach point stand view, 106, 106, and then down to a 79. So, look, I don't think that he will be doing this average again. Hopefully we can see him back up to 95, that now Josh Dacos is potentially going to the middle. So let's just wait before his buy, I reckon, because his price won't change. I think he's got an early... what buy does he have? He has some sort of buy that's early. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Adelaide. I thought they played GWS. Sorry, St Kilda is what I meant. Adelaide, GWS, Brisbane, free. Oh, no, they do in round 0. They just obviously haven't added it there. So he plays round 0, round 1. His price won't change till the GWS game. So if he just goes out and kills it, not a bad option to kind of downgrade and save up quite a bit of cash on him. Do I see him being the top 6 defender? Probably not. So for me, I'm going to stay clear from him. Braden Maynard, you're going to say no. Jeremy Howe, no. Isaac Quaynor, I had him at the start of last year just as a really weird throwaway pick. He's more of a lockdown defender. I know he comes off halfback a bit, but not enough for me to choose him because you've obviously got Houston, Josh Dacos, Maynard, Perryman that do it as well. Darcy Moore, I think he's injured for the first couple rounds, if I'm not wrong, which means Reef McGuinness might get some opportunity. Obviously, when we read the notes there, Reef McGuinness might play defence again, 155k. Not a terrible option, but for 2 games, probably not worth it. Frampton, no. Perriman, look, he disappointed everyone last year, so I'm going to go no. All right, going to the midfield, Nick Dacos. I think he'll be on everyone's end of season top 8, midfielders when you think of the guys like Bontempelli, the guys that I've got, which are Butters and Dawson, and you've got I've got Noah Anderson, Brayshaw, and who else? That's it. Those are the 4 that I've got. Think of Bont, and you think of Dacos in that midfield like top 8 midfield group there. Sorry, I just said midfield a lot and said it again. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for a couple of years now. Pretty much his first season, he's been averaging some great numbers. And I think he's a guy you could start. When do they have their second bye? Because Gold Coast is a bit weird. Yeah, look at that. From 193 to 500. Insane. An average of 91. He's got 116, 117, 116. What was I checking? Why was I checking here? I'm not sure. I know I'm off topic. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's right. Collingwood's schedule, because they have their bye in round 3, so he'll be able to play for you in round 1 and 2. Sorry, you're probably just going, oh my God, how can you forget already? And then they don't have their bye until round 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. So you kind of want them after the bye rounds. I kind of. I don't know. Maybe you get him as soon as you can, but you've got to be prepared that he'll have that buy round in 14 earlier on because it's 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So it's across 4, I think. So just be aware of that for Dacos and other Collingwood guys. Pendlebury, I'm going to go no. Sidebottom, I'm going to go no. Chris, going to go no. Ned Long, too expensive. I mentioned it with Adam Chera. He's now at that price where you go, well, I could spend another 40K to get a better premium that will, I know for sure, will average more than him. It's going to be the same with Ned Long. Like, it would have been good last year when he was at 190K or something like that, very cheap. Finished at 420K for this year, but you just can't go from this year. Pat Lipinski going to go no. Jordan De Goey. If he can go fit and firing, I do not have a problem with you guys going for him, I'll be honest. Let's go back to that midfield there. 12% of people have got Jordan De Goey at 321K. Pretty decent option there. I've got a couple guys in front of him, though. I've got Hayden Young, obviously, and I've got Darcy Parish, but he is pushing that next spot there. You know, being the next, like, 300K price midfielder there. Look, what was his highest average overall? Because you got to remember, these, like, a guy that did this 4 or 5 years ago, and he's like in his mid to late, he's in his late 20s, early 30s. I can't remember how old he is. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 11th year, so he'll be late 20s. His highest was a 96, and that's when he played probably his last, like, full season. So he's only averaged 90 once. So you've just got to be prepared that he's probably not going to average 90 again. So when it's the question of when you're going to get rid of him, is it going to be at around 450K? Because to me, unless their name is Hayden Young or Darcy Parish, I think the rest of the guys in that kind of bracket area, you're just saying there's no point starting you because we're going to be trading you. I think you can't have more than 2 in the midfield. But yeah, that's just in my opinion. Edward Allen, I'm going to say no. And what's his first name? Printable. Tyrant Printable. So the academy player from Brisbane up in Queensland Academy. I can't spell. Tyron. We'll have a look at his rookie central. All right. Midfielder forward, 181. Average an 84. 19 disposals. Endurance and flair. There's improvements, but clean hands consistently. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we can see something out of him. Hopefully he can get a game because they kind of need to inject a decent amount of youth, Collingwood, because of their older list. So we'll see how he goes. I'm hoping he does play. If he is starting 23, I think I will pick him because he's at 113,500, which there's not many options there, I'll be honest. All right, going to the ruckman. It is Darcy Cameron. I'm not going to talk about the other 3 guys because I don't really know if they're going to be playing a second ruck. They normally play Dan McStay or they don't play Billy Frampton. They don't really have a second ruck, but Darcy Cameron, he's a nice pod, I reckon. Like 111 average. He can jump. The only thing is that he does go down back. With the new ruck rules, it's going to affect every ruck, obviously, but it's going to affect, in my opinion, it's going to affect the rucks that are staying down back for the next kick over more often than the ones that are going to be around the ground, like a Luke Jackson, like a Tristan Cherry. That's just in my opinion. But Darcy Cameron, not a bad option. He's a nice pod. He's 80K less than Gawn and Cherry and Grundy, and he does kind of the same things, just, not as good, obviously. So it's 600K. It's not even a bad option to go with Darcy Cameron. Forwards, there is really not much to talk about, I'll be honest, except for one guy. Schultz, we're going to say no. Jamie Elliott, I'm going to say no. Dan McStay, sorry, I nearly said Darcy McStay. Going to say no. Bo McCreary, going to say no. Tim Membry, going to say no. Bobby Hill, going to say no as well. Lockie Sullivan, going to say no. Harvey Harrison. I think I've got him in my squad. I did take a photo before I did a bunch of these recordings, but he is definitely in my team. And I read somewhere on Twitter that, Collingwood fans saying that he should definitely get a starting spot for that best 23. How many games has he played overall in his career? He's played 16, and this is his 5th year. So he came off an ACL injury last year, which means his price will tank a bit, which it has to 126k. I'm going to start him personally. I think, just as a little mini pod play, I guess. What's the percentage with him? 3%. I'm one of those 3% that have got Harvey Harrison. So yeah, that's the main list review. We can have a look at the whole team. Some guys that I haven't talked about yet. Let's not do owns. That's a bit weird. Anyone else? Jack Buller. I really don't know much about this guy. An average of 52 at 285k. There's a reason why no one's going for him. Rowan Steele, 196. Probably no. William Hayes. Gonna say no. There's a few of these guys at this price, like on this mid to low price, that might get a game. And I don't know, like looking at this 3-2, 3-3 games last year is not going to be enough, in my opinion, because they're just not playing enough games, in my opinion. But Harvey Harrison, by the sounds of it, might play. Cotran, Demaria, Howes, Jath might. Did he play? I thought he played a game, not last year, but the year before, maybe. Might have played one game. Okay, as this does not want to load. Career stats. Played one game in his rookie year. And he's still stuck at the 119, 919k 900. Yep, that's going to do it. Yeah, so that's it for Collingwood. There really isn't much of a talking. Like, there's not many players to really target, I'll be honest. A new one of Josh Dacos has popped up, Harvey Harrison as well, two guys that we have never really spoken about in the past few years. I mean, Josh Dacos, obviously. And then Nick, he's just been Nick Dacos for the past 4 years of his career and will continue to be great. So we've been doing this past 3 episodes. We'll do past 3 videos. We'll do my top 5. So the 5 guys I like in order. It's going to be Nick Dacos at 1, Josh Dacos at 2. I'm going to say Dan Houston at 3. Or actually, I'm going to go Darcy Cameron at 3. Darcy Cameron at 3. Dan Houston at 4. Sorry. Nick 1, Josh 2, Cameron 3, Houston 4, and then I reckon Harrison 5, and then Prindable 6. But then there is literally no other options I would really go for in that Collingwood side. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if I didn't mention any of these guys in thorough. Tell me to do my own research, I guess. Let me know if I spoke about too much of a guy that you think won't do any good. Give me your feedback. Let me know anything about anything. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.